Welcome to the Noobie Dentist Podcast, giving a voice to young clinicians worldwide. The Noobie Dentist Podcast aims to be the dental industry leader in in-depth, informative and motivational interviews with some of the world's leading clinicians, academics and experts. With your host, Dr. Omid Azami.
Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Noobie Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Omid Azami. I'm very excited to be announcing and launching the rebrand for the Noobie Dentist Podcast. I started this podcast in 2017 and really started off as a bit of a side project, a bit of a hobby, and I just want to get a few episodes out there, speak and connect with a lot of dentists. And never did I really, envision it growing and sustaining for as long as it has. And this past few months, I did cross a big, milestone for the podcast, which is 50,000 downloads. And I just want to take this episode to do a bit of a reflection, to thank all the listeners, and to talk about some upcoming projects and, what to look out for the Noobie Dentist Podcast over the next few months. The podcast has continued to grow, and despite me being busy and life happens and job changes and all these things, the listeners have been coming back to the show and downloading and subscribing, and it's really meant a lot to me to see the show continue to grow despite some periods of inactivity. And these past few months, after I have partnered up with Dr. Ricky and Dr. Ziad, who have been producing some of the episodes for the podcast under the Mastering Dentistry series, has really resurged and really motivated me to, freshen things up and give the podcast a bit of a facelift. So if you head over to newbiedentist.com, you'll see the new redesigned website. I've gone for a bit of a minimalist look there and just want to focus on functionality, giving you guys easy access to the previous library of all the interviews with all the amazing guests that I've had on over the past couple of years. I've also updated the logo for the Noobie Dentist Podcast to reflect a more, mature and established brand. The initial podcast logo I remember sitting in a Starbucks back in Toronto and just, doing some Photoshop tutorials and putting a few things together. And things have evolved, and I wanted to reflect the change and present the Noobie Dentist Podcast as a more of a polished and professional product. And as you heard in the intro to this episode, I have also updated the intro and outro for the podcast, and I'm really excited for that, as I think it reflects what I want to establish for the podcast going forward and setting precedents for a more high-end interview process and podcast that aims and targets dentists who really want to accomplish great things in their career, who want to be motivated, who want to learn from other expert clinicians from around the world. And I'm excited to get that to you guys. I'm lining up some great interviews for the next few months, and I think that you guys will get a lot of value from the interviews that are going to be happening over the next little bit. I also want to thank my current sponsor for the podcast, Ivoclar Vivident. They partnered with myself to run a contest to give away an IPS Empress composite kit for the 50,000 downloads. And Derek Mack, who was actually one of my classmates back in dental school, won the contest. So congrats to Derek. And we are hoping to run similar promotions in the future. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested, and we can get those to you. This past couple months have been pretty crazy for everyone. COVID came and the pandemic changed how a lot of us practice, how a lot of us work. It impacted our work hours, our work conditions. A lot of us have friends in private practice who their clinics shut for extended periods of time. And for me, it was really interesting because I was in a weird privileged position, I guess, to be working in the public dental hospital during this period, and got the opportunity to work throughout COVID and see patients and help them with their dental emergencies. And the management, the implementation, the ongoing evolution of systems of how the Royal Dental Hospital here in Melbourne implemented things and managed the pandemic was something to really behold. And I'm very cognizant of the fact that I got to experience a lot of cool things that maybe my colleagues won't have. And these are experiences and memories that I'll take with me going forward. And with due course, I'll hopefully get these down on paper in a little bit more detail and try and get them up as a blog post or something. So for anyone who's interested, can have a read and see where things go. Over these past few weeks and months, I've also been working on CPD Junkie here in Australia. CPD Junkie is a comprehensive directory of courses, and since obviously there's not many courses happening in person, apart from webinars and all those things that I've been running around the world, we have been really working to try and develop it and build as much value as we can for dentists. Our aim with CPD Junkie, for those of you in Australia and New Zealand, is that we want it to be free for dentists. We want it to give value. We want to provide content. And really the core of the idea and the website is to make it easy for you to find courses, either by discipline, by location, or by date, to help you really navigate the plethora of courses that are available to you and really get good value from those. So if you haven't already checked it out, head over to cpdjunkie.com.au, have a look. You can see what courses are upcoming. You can subscribe to receive a free copy of our ebook, How to Get the Most Out of CPD. And you can also set up alerts to get newsletters sent to you, get updates on certain courses. So there's a lot that we're working on and developing, and I encourage you guys to check it out. Really, it's something that we want to give back to the community by building such a resource to make it really easy for you guys to interact and find CPD. In addition to that, we did write a journal for dentists. It's called Foresight Dental. The Foresight Dental Journal was a work between myself and Dr. David Kier, who runs the Dental Head Start podcast, a good friend of mine and my business partner in all these endeavors. The Foresight Dental Journal was our effort to put together everything we've kind of learned by interviewing all these high-achieving clinicians and dentists, on top of our own interest in self-development and self-improvement and habits. So we really condensed a lot of hours of research, of learning, of interviewing into a daily journal planner, which can guide you step by step through goal setting, through accountability, and through tracking progress. So the Foresight Dental Journal is available on foresightdental.com. If you're interested in that, if you want to learn more, head over to the site, have a read, or you can message us on the Foresight Dental Instagram page, or even message me on the Noobie Dentist Instagram page, and I will aim to get back to you with details about that. That's pretty much it for today's episode. I just wanted to catch up and announce the rebrand for the podcast, the new introduction. And I'm really excited. I feel that the podcast is in a mature state now, and we can really do some cool things and explore some ideas of running certain mini series on different clinical topics, on getting experts to share their experiences, and to expand even outside dentistry and look at mindset and motivation, and even look at finances with all the issues going on right now. So check back in. Head over to newbiedentist.com to check out the new website, and I'm excited to deliver some great interviews for you guys over the next few weeks and months. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Noobie Dentist podcast. Please be sure to subscribe and head over to iTunes and give the show a 5-star rating. For all show notes and to access all previous episodes, head over to www.noobiedentist.com. Have a great day.